initial statement, but there is no vacancy in the office of the national chairman of the party, if that's what you're asking. There's absolutely no vacancy. Our national chairman, His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, is our chairman, and he's operating as the chairman. He just arrived at the party headquarters to do his job. So there's no vacancy in that office. And yes, we also have seen some of those posters, but look, this is a democracy. People do what they want, but make no mistake that the office of national chairman is, properly and fully occupied, and we have, total and absolute confidence in his leadership of the party. So nobody is asking for that office to be declared vacant, and it's not vacant. But having said that, I just would, warn those who are, throwing some of these papers around to desist from doing that. That's not our priority right now. We need to concentrate on the job that needs to be done to, solve some of the problems we have and hopefully make our country a better place for all of us. And then on the
I'm talking of the issue that he raised.
I think you have a second question.
Yeah, the second question.
No, I just thought on the the relevant institutions, the CBN and the Ministry of Aviation, I'm sure will deal with these matters in the coming days. I know that they are, working on this and trying to clarify, some of this misunderstandings in the public space about the movement. Nobody is moving the CBN anywhere. The CBN is in Lagos. That's where the headquarters of the CBN is. But I'm quite sure that the bank in Abuja, yes, the CBN has its headquarters in Abuja, and that's where it is. That's where it remains. And no one is thinking of or planning to move the CBN to Lagos or to anywhere else. But I also know that in the course of its operations, sometimes it may become necessary operationally to make changes within its internal departments or move individuals. Like any organization will transfer people and move them elsewhere. But like I said, this is a matter that the CBN itself will more fully answer to. But I can say without any fear of contradiction that the CBN is not planning to move its headquarters to Lagos or to anywhere else. Abuja is its headquarters, and this is where it's going to remain. With respect to FAN, again, I just spoke with the Minister of Aviation. I know he's going to be dealing with this, either today or tomorrow in the coming days. So I'll leave that matter to him to respond to. If you may. Yes. Yeah, look, listen. As I've always explained, there's a reason you have three levels of courts with respect to Court of Record: the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. Now, with respect to election petition matters that we're discussing here, the Court of Appeal was made the final authority, final appellate court. So from the tribunal, you go to the Court of Appeal, and then whatever decision they give is final. Now, what court was hijacked? Is it in the complexity of the judgment that came out of the Supreme Court recently, where some of the decisions of the Court of Appeal were overturned? Or what? I mean, I don't understand the point about hijack. How do you hijack a court system or an entire level of court? How do you do that? By what means do you do that? Listen, if anything, the judgment that came out of the Supreme Court, I think, must instruct everyone, including those who would like to speculate and make bogus allegations, especially from the opposition, that our courts are fiercely independent and are doing exactly what they were created to do. Now, when there's a difference between the opinion of the High Court or the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, that is the nature of the legal process. That is why you have appellate courts. Think about it. Why don't you just have a high court, one judge sitting at the high court making final decisions? Why not? Because the law recognizes that nobody, no judge, even with the best intent and with the best level of integrity, may be infallible. Everyone, if all of us in this room are presented the same set of facts, we may come away with different understandings of the same set of facts. We all speak English language. When I ask you what the facts represent, you may say one thing, I may say another. Doesn't mean we are being, we're being foolish or being silly. It's just the nature of the human mind. That's why the law, in the wisdom of the crafters of our legal system, created this level so that when one level is done, there's an opportunity for review. It's called judicial review by another level. And then up to the Supreme Court. So where there are differences between Court of Appeal judgment and that of the Supreme Court, it's not because the people in the lower court did anything untoward. It's not necessarily because of that. It could just be that they exercise their best understanding to the best of their knowledge. And the Supreme Court decides differently. Now, let me say this. The Supreme Court itself is comprised of, eminently trained lawyers who are judges, just like their counterparts in the High Courts and the Court of Appeal. Now, when the Supreme Court makes a decision, that decision is final. It is infallible because it's final, not because it's infallible. Not because, as lawyers, we cannot disagree with the Supreme Court. Lawyers disagree with the Supreme Court sometimes. And the Supreme Court, in subsequent cases, can also overrule themselves. That happens. That's part of the judicial process. So when the Supreme Court overrules itself, then what happens? Is it that they were hijacked or they were compromised? That is not it. Those who speak that language, I think, are just mischief makers who want to create trouble and create doubt. And often, go and review it. It happens only when they lose. When they lose, the court is hijacked or has been hijacked. When they prevail, when they win, the court, has, served democracy. That is crassly irresponsible. We cannot, indulge them. So we are, whether we have lost, where we have lost, we have accepted because we're a democratic, party. We understand the nature of the legal process. You win some, you lose some. But when you lose, accept it. When you win, celebrate it. But don't pull down the house or pull down the entire judicial system because you lost an election. That is unacceptable by any standard.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. We're thankful for the opportunity to be here again in 2024. And I hope that we all had a good, peaceful, restful, short holiday. As you may know, yesterday the National Working Committee of our party met and deliberated on a few important issues and reached some important resolutions. And that's at its 141st meeting. Made the following resolutions. 1, resolved to flag off the update of voters register of our party nationally, beginning in Niger State. And then following that, we'll flag off voter registration in one state in each of the remaining geopolitical zones. So we're going to begin in Niger, and then afterwards we will then do the same in each state of the remaining 5 geopolitical zones in the country. The NWC also adopts in its entirety the report of NWC's high-level reconciliation and intervention delegation to the United Kingdom's APC diaspora chapter. In particular, the NWC approved the constitution of an interim executive committee of the chapter of 24 members to be led by its chairman, Honorable Tunde Doherty, and its secretary, Honorable Joseph Adebola. The interim executive committee shall have a term of 3 months, which term may be renewed as may be necessary. The NWC also denounced the failure or refusal of the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly to swear in 16 APC House members adjudged by the Court of Appeal as the duly elected members of the Plateau House of Assembly. The intransigence of the Speaker and the Governor of the state in this matter is wrong, undemocratic, and violently contemptuous of the authority of the Court of Appeal, the highest court for the determination of election petition matters as it concerns the House of Assembly. The NWC urges the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly to swear in the members without further delay in the interest of peace in the good state of Plateau. Now, that ends my official statement, but just to say a few more words about the situation in Plateau State. As we all know, the Court of Appeal, in its verdict, found in favor and decided that the 16 APC members were the validly elected members of the State House Assembly following the last election. Just as the Supreme Court also decided that the current incumbent governor is the validly elected governor of Plateau State. In the case of the governor, we accepted, our party, the APC, accepted the verdict of the Supreme Court and laid the matter to rest in the hope that we will again compete for that office at the next election. The Court of Appeal is the highest court when it comes to election petition matters pertaining to the House of Assembly. That court gave its verdict in favor of 16 members of our party and ordered that they be sworn in as the lawful members of the House of Assembly. As we speak, the Speaker, for reasons best known to him, has refused or neglected to swear in these members. In other words, define the authority of the Court of Appeal in a matter. The Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly does not have any overriding power or authority, on the Court of Appeal. He doesn't. He is under obligation. His discretion is unnecessary. Nobody's asking his goodwill. He has a constitutional duty to perform, and that is to swear in these members who have been found by the legitimate, properly constituted court of law as the duly elected members of the House of Assembly. Anything short of that is unnecessary rascality, bordering on, like I said, violent contempt of court. And there are legal consequences for that behavior. And we cannot run our democracy in that manner. We all cannot pick and choose what decisions of the court we respect and those we don't. Even if you have any issues with that decision, do the right thing, do as the law requires, and then you may explore whatever other facility you may have. Do that. So, our party, the National Working Committee, on behalf of the National Chairman, we're urging the Speaker of the Plateau House of Assembly not to drag this on any further, because there will be consequences for this. We hope that he's listening and that he will do exactly what the law requires of his office. Thank you very much. I'll take a couple of questions.